Following Thanksgiving, the Gladiolus Food Pantry provided turkey and fixings for nearly 1,500 families in Fort Myers. As the holiday season rolls along, they continue to help families get more than just food on the table. They deliver a sense of belonging in a Fort Myers neighborhood.
Part of our mission is to treat everybody with dignity and respect.
In Harlem Heights, a little green building has had a big impact on the community. Since 2013, the Gladiolus Food Pantry has assisted families by supplementing their meals with fresh produce, meats, and non-perishable items.
I had the idea of the food pantry. I was just thinking our Harlem Heights, but then it got to grow so much that we are helping over 10,000 families a year. So I never thought the need was that big.
Working with groups like the Harry Chapin Food Bank and Midwest Food Banks, Miriam Ortiz has developed a communal congregation that helps thousands of families annually. There's also a steady backbone of volunteers that support the food pantry.
We are over 200 volunteers that help me run this place. It looks easy, but it's not. It's a lot of work.
Harlem Heights resident Carol Lindsay began coming to the food pantry after losing her job. She says the assistance helps restore some of her humanity.
It keeps you from going hungry, and it keeps you from begging and borrowing from other people and belittling your family so your family can come up. At least you have a daily meal every day, and you feel proud of that meal that you're cooking for your family.
The pantry also allows people to select their own items instead of pre-sorted supplies.
Believe it or not, that saves some amount of time, and you don't have to throw nothing away. Whatever you pick, you know you're gonna eat it. That's the way I feel about it. And it makes you feel like you're shopping at a store.
So I really don't like when people say, oh, you're hungry, you eat anything, and that doesn't work like that.
Whether it's bananas, eggs, or fresh-cut flowers, Ortiz's goal is to bring more than just food to those in need, but a feeling of worth.
And people like that. A lady told us, she said, Miriam, you made me feel human again, she goes. Because she said, I don't have money to buy food. You think I'm gonna have a bouquet of flowers in my house? She said, I'm so glad that we can do that.
For WGCU News, I'm Tara Callaghan reporting in Fort Myers.
Joining us now is Richard LeBur, the president and CEO of the Harry Chapin Food Bank. Welcome, Mr. LeBur.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start with this. How has inflation impacted hunger in Southwest Florida? Obviously, it's been an issue for folks across the country, but what has been the impact here?
You know, inflation is a terrible issue, and it is a major contributor to the number of folks in our area who are hungry. We've seen inflation, of course, in all kinds of costs. We've seen inflation in food costs. We've seen inflation in fuel. We've seen enormous increases in rents. Rents in many areas in Southwest Florida have more than doubled in the last 2 or 3 years. And so, you know, if you think about somebody who's on a limited income or a fixed income, that's a huge problem.
As far as the percentage of folks you are serving in Southwest Florida, are we seeing a big change in that? Is food insecurity getting any better?
Food insecurity is on the rise right now. You know, we saw obviously an enormous increase in food insecurity during the pandemic, and then it subsided somewhat. But since then, we've had a hurricane and a bout of inflation. People say inflation is coming down, but the prices have not gone back to where they were before the bout of inflation. Certainly rents have not. And in many other cases, other costs remain stubbornly high as well. So we're still seeing significant increases. The number of people we're serving now is about 75% higher than it was before the pandemic.
So tell us about the people you serve. Have the demographics changed at all over the last few years?
The demographics have shifted a little bit. I wouldn't say they've changed dramatically. We've always served a significant amount of seniors on fixed incomes. We have always served our single largest population being working families. But what we're seeing is that people who are on the margin are increasingly needing to come out and get help.
So you mentioned seniors. So what kind of help is available to seniors or people who just may not be able to physically make it to a pantry?
Mm-hmm. So we have pantries that we run, and we have a feeding network of about 175 other organizations throughout our 5 counties that are on the ground feeding people every day. Many of those organizations serve seniors. In addition to that, we have senior kit programs where we're taking food boxes for a regular monthly distribution. We feed many thousands of seniors that way as well. If people need help with transportation or access to food, they can call 211 in Lee County, or they can come to our website or talk to us, and we can connect them with organizations that have volunteers who are available to help bring food to people who have difficulty getting to a site where they can get help.
So we were talking earlier about children, and I was thinking about students. You know, during the school year, they can tap into free or reduced, lunches. Free lunches, free breakfasts. But when school is out, is there help for students, for children?
Well, there is. Obviously, a lot of children are getting fed at school during the normal course of events, but on the weekend or during the holidays or over the summertime, those resources aren't available. There are resources outside of us, like summer meal programs and the like, that are available to many parents to bring their children. We have a variety of programs as well. We put pantries in about 40 schools in Southwest Florida, so mom or dad can come, and when they're picking up their kid after school, they can go into the pantry and get food and bring it home to get them through the weekend. We have mobile pantries that operate near schools, and we have food boxes that we provide to a lot of other organizations, maybe a preschool or an after-school program where they can provide a food box to somebody who is coming and needs some help.
What do you need to continue to serve Southwest Florida? How can people best help you?
We need all kinds of help. Obviously, we have many generous food donors. We love to have people do food drives or food and fund drives. Clearly it costs money to do what we do, and so we're constantly fundraising. We're a private nonprofit organization, and the vast majority of our budget comes from private fundraising. And then we love our volunteers. We have thousands of volunteers, tens of thousands of volunteer hours every year of people who help us do things that otherwise I'd have to pay a staff member to do, and frankly probably couldn't afford. So that could be helping prepare food to be distributed, or coming out to a distribution point and helping us distribute the food to people who need help.
And if we can end on this, for anyone out there who may need help, maybe a little reluctant to get help because they've never needed it before, your message to them?
There's no shame in this. Many people are embarrassed to admit that they need some help. It's an embarrassing thing to have to say, I'm not sure how I'm going to feed my kids this weekend. We try very hard, and so do all the organizations in our feeding network, to be kind and compassionate and treat people who are going through a tough time, as gently as we can. Please call 211, come to our website, find a site and get some help so that you and your children, your family, don't have to struggle with being food insecure.
Thank you, Mr. LeBur, for your time. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much for having me.